All right, guys, thank you so much for coming back to the channel. I have a special guest with me. I'm going to let him talk about his background and everything, but he, first of all, has an awesome transformation story. And yeah, so just go ahead and tell everybody who you are, what you do. We'll just jump into it.
Just jump right into it. Well, thanks
Yeah.
for having me on here. I appreciate the opportunity. My name is Bronson. I am 48 years old. I'm a granddad. I still can't believe that I'm a
Crazy.
granddad, right? My granddaughter is 2.5-ish, almost 3. And I guess closer on the 2.5 side. She's not 3 yet. But yeah, so my transformation story. Gosh, where do I begin? I didn't get started. And this is something, so right now I coach, I do online coaching, I do personal training, I do group classes, I do health coaching, all kinds of different things. And I didn't, like I got here, it's taken me over 10 years or so to get to this point where I feel like I have the knowledge and experience because I've been through just about everything you can go through in that transformation process to help other people. I didn't get started, and this is where my focus now comes from in dealing with people that are in that middle age, over the hill, 40 and up kind of area, because I didn't get started till I was almost 40.
Wow.
Right? I was active, I was in the military, so you assume I'm going to have to be in shape, and that's good until you have a family and kids and your job changes and things like that. Just like any career, any job, anybody, you get to a point in your life where focuses change, things change. And for some reason, our fitness and our health always seems to get kicked to the back burner and everything else takes precedence. So you kind of lose all of that. I didn't realize that I let myself go to that point because I still went to the gym 3, 4, 5, even 5 days a week at that time. What I didn't have in my head is that I wasn't actually doing anything. Like I'd go, it was more social time. It was more lift some weights with the bros and whatever. I was still not doing mobility. I was not doing cardio. I was not doing anything nutrition wise. I was eating like absolute crap, right? If we talk about Red Robin and Thai food and pizza and Dunkin' Donuts, those were probably the 4 things that I ate pretty much every day. Red Robin, I love Red Robin, but they've got to stop the all you can eat fries. Oh gosh, seriously. So I got to a point where I was 38-ish, 39, and probably 40 pounds overweight, 40, almost 50 pounds overweight, and went to the beach. My daughter took a picture of me sitting in a chair, and it was probably the next day we were going through pictures on her phone, and she showed me, and I saw that picture, and I was like, whoa, hold on a second, go back, let me see that. And I've done a couple podcasts where people have their transformation picture. I need to print it out so I can say, look, this used to be me. But I look at that picture and it was just like, I've got man boobs. I got a gut hanging out. I got these skinny little legs, my arms are flabby. And I'm like, this is not, no, what is going, when did this happen? I've got not just dad bod. I don't know. I'm looking at myself on a beach. I look like a beach whale, and I couldn't deal with that. So at that point, I decided, okay, I have to do something. Something's got to change here. And honestly, the first thing that I changed was stop going to Red Robin, stop getting those French fries. That was literally the hardest thing and the first step. And this is what I tell people: it doesn't have to be a huge change. Sometimes it takes time. You didn't get where you are overnight. The change isn't going to happen overnight either. So you have to be okay with making small things. And I didn't even realize, like, I never had a goal initially. My initial goal was just I don't want to look like that anymore. Where I am today, I never would have pictured myself being able to be where I am today. Not 10 years ago. 10 years ago, if I had said, this is my goal, I would have quit because I never would have thought it was attainable. So if you shoot too far ahead, if you shoot too much and try to get too far too quickly, it's going to be discouraging because it doesn't work that way. So keep your goals, keep your vision realistic about where you are right now and what's the little things you can change.
Yes.
That will progress. Those goals will change. You'll reach one goal. Okay, what's the next thing? And then over time you'll get there. Don't try to get that big thing down the road, right?
Yes.
So The most attainable thing that I thought I could do initially was just stop eating French fries. It is amazing how freaking hard that was, because partially because I had bad habits of I didn't like to cook and eat my own food, so I was always eating out, and everything always comes with freaking French fries.
Of course.
So that was the biggest challenge. I got to a point where I just stopped eating them. People knew that if we were going out, don't offer me fries, like whatever. And then I kind of went from there in a whole bunch of different progressions. Uh, the next big thing I think would be uh, doing a 21-day detox of no alcohol,
Mhm.
and realizing that's the one well, I take that back. We're going to skip. So first was the nutrition of not eating French fries. Then was being introduced to CrossFit. So that was when I was 38, 39-ish, around 39, 40. I went on a cruise, saw a guy working out while I was in the gym doing my workout, and was like, okay, he's actually working out. What is he doing? Just introduce, hey, what are you doing, man? This looks like super crazy. What is it? And he's like, hey, it's CrossFit. I found out he owned a gym in Miami, and we kind of hung out that whole cruise. He taught me a bunch of stuff, and this one, was my first introduction to this high intensity interval training that was varied in all kinds of different exercise and modalities. Like in CrossFit, you're doing a little bit of everything.
Mhm.
So you're getting exposed to how to move your body, what strength is, what endurance is, different metabolic capacities of short workouts that are really intense and long workouts that are kind of slow and chill, but they still kick your butt. And it was just such a different way of looking at things. You joke around about doing cardio just by lifting weights faster, but
Mhm.
that's really, it does actually work, guys. Lift weights faster. So I did that, fell in love with it, found a gym when I got home, and eventually started coaching. It got to the point where I got enough training experience, opened up my own gym, had that for a while, and then it just kind of progressed into all these other different things that I'm doing. So nutrition a little bit, got exposed to something that was fitness related, that was, again, attainable. I didn't start doing CrossFit and think, hey, I'm going to try to get to the CrossFit games and be this world level, world class athlete. It was just like, hey, this is something that's fun. I'm doing it with other people, and there's coaches who are telling me what I'm doing and how to do it right. Right. It was the three things that I always recommend to people when you're trying to find something. You want to do something that's attainable and realistic. You want to find a community that's doing it with you, or that you can do it with, because you need that support. I don't know anybody who's just going to go out and do something and do well and succeed over a long period of time if they're just doing it by themselves. You get sidetracked, you get discouraged. You need to hear other people who are having similar struggles that you can kind of commiserate with, but also find solutions with, and things like that. I'm sure you've dealt with a
Oh,
lot
yeah,
of that as well, right?
definitely. Yeah.
And that's one of the reasons why we're here, right? We want to develop that community and give people a chance to have a place to come, so that they can share and get information that's going to help them.
Yeah, I mean, I always tell people in my groups that it's lonely, especially around the holidays, which we're in right now. Depending on people, when people are watching this, we're right in the middle of the between Christmas and Thanksgiving and Christmas time, where people have just decided they're going to put a toe in the water of cheating and eating whatever they want. And then some people decide to just jump in and swim until January. And we don't
Yep.
worry about fitness, so we don't think about food. And unless you really have support and community and people that are doing what you're doing, and let's face it, most people in 2020 aren't, it's really hard,
Right.
and so that's why I've kind of started creating my groups just for the food aspect and the mindset aspect of like,
Mhm.
look, we're doing this, we're not eating the stuff that everyone else is. We're not just going to throw everything away this month.
Right.
We're gonna
Right.
support each other through this. And so yeah, it's having a community. And that's another thing about 2020 that's been hard, is like our in-person communities have
Oh my
been totally
gosh.
decimated, and it's very lonely. It's very difficult. I'm sure you in the fitness, and I mean, I'm a yoga teacher. I'm no longer teaching yoga in person. The studio I
Right.
work for is going to be shutting down, and all my other in-person jobs are gone.
Yep.
So I've taken my businesses all online. but creating online community is so vital in this process.
It's like the last vestige we have of humanity right now,
Yeah,
right?
it's
Which
so
is
crazy.
sad, which is really sad.
Yeah, it's
And
really,
it's even something that we struggle with. I'm sure. I don't know about you, at least. So I'm single. I live by myself. I got a cat just to keep me company, right?
oh,
So when I'm at home, I've got someone to play. He's tearing up my furniture right now. Um, but I mean, you have a family at least, so you're with people at home. For
yeah,
those of us that are like in my situation, it's really hard, right? So
yeah,
even me having an online community and even having a gym that I do actually work out of, where I can spend some time with people on somewhat of a regular basis, it's still not the same, and it still is a challenge. Like the
yeah.
last few weeks for myself, like you said, this in between time, this dead zone of holidays and end of the year and all this kind of stuff. I've been like, what am I doing?
Yeah.
If it weren't for the fact that I'm in the position I am where I'm trying to be an example and be a mentor and a
Yeah.
coach to other people, if I didn't have that pressure of having to set an example, I'd probably be eating ice cream every night,
Oh yeah.
sitting on the couch and just like, woo, Netflix, let's
Same.
go.
I mean, I tell
You know?
people are like, "Oh, thank you for doing these groups and doing your videos and all the stuff that you're doing." And I'm like, "Yes, it's for you and I appreciate it, but it's also for me because I
Right.
have 41 I'm 41. I have like about because last year was the first year I didn't eat any sugar, I didn't eat any of the
Mhm.
stuff. It was like full carnivore, just buckled down, did it during the
Yep.
holidays. First year ever in my life. For the 39 years before that, it was like binge city. You
Right.
know, January, we've got an extra 20 pounds to contend with.
Yep.
Haven't been working out. Like it was just every January is just like a freaking disaster.
Right.
So
You got to start over every year, right?
yes,
This is,
yes.
yeah.
So it's like for me, yes, I love creating content and putting stuff out, but it's also kind of selfishly to keep my ass like from from going off and dying
Right.
in that nightly ice cream. Because if there's a time to do it, it's now. I mean, I don't have to go put on a cute little yoga outfit and be in front of 50 people. I don't have to do that anymore. I
Right.
could,
You say the camera adds 10 pounds anyway, so it doesn't matter
right,
what you do, right?
exactly. Yeah, yeah.
So, so that was the fitness side of things. Another nutrition piece, which I was going to talk about, is I did a 21-day sugar detox. I don't know if you've heard of the 21-day sugar detox program.
I haven't.
It's really, really good for anybody that's looking for something that's a good reset. It's quick, it's easy, it's just follow step, point A to point B. But one of the things in it, because I was with somebody at the time, my wife at the time was a nutritionist. She was a 21-day sugar detox coach, and we already were pretty much whole food, paleo, um, moderately low carb, right? So I felt like most of that stuff I already have on point. The only thing I really felt I needed to change was I drank 3 to 4 glasses of whiskey a week.
Oh yeah.
A night bourbon, particularly. Every night or every couple of nights, I'd come home and have my glass, sit in front of the TV, and kind of chill out and kind of relax for the evening. So I stopped doing that, and in 3 weeks, I lost 10 pounds
Ooh,
of only fat. I lost no muscle. I just lost fat in 3 weeks, 10 pounds. It's like, okay, that's what got me going on okay, there's something to this nutrition piece. I need to learn more. It was shortly after that that the infamous Baker Rogan podcast happened. And my wife came home and said, "Hey, I just heard this thing. You should listen to it. Maybe you should try it because of your stomach issues." So I had IBS. I had
mm,
dramatic, I guess that'd be a good word, dramatic bathroom experiences,
mm.
and urgent. Like I was the guy that, if you've ever heard me talk about anything, I was the guy that never left the house without some form of toilet paper. I had toilet paper in my trunk. If we went on a hike, I always packed it in my backpack. If we went on the bus, I always brought something in a bag. A train, like could not go anywhere, and I always had to try to make sure I went to the bathroom 2 or 3 times before we even left the house,
Wow.
just to make sure that if something was going to happen, I could take care of it before we got out there. Because I never knew. I literally never knew. Um, it's kind of gross to talk about, but I can't even count the number of times I've had to stop on the side of a road in my past and just do what I had to do. In other countries, I've been in Europe. I'm like, I don't know where I'm at. I'm on the wrong side of the road. I got to stop somewhere and do whatever. Because that's just how it was.
Yeah.
I didn't realize how different my life could be
Mm.
until I didn't have to deal with that stuff anymore.
Yeah.
And looking back at it now, I've been carnivore for about 2.5 years. It'll be 3 years in next May. And you know what? I just realized I went carnivore the same time my granddaughter was born. I don't know why that never just clicked in my head before. So it'll be almost 3 years. And looking back at how I used to live my life, it just blows my mind. Like, how did I ever think that that was okay?
Yeah.
Because I'd done it for so long. I've got a stomach thing. It is what it is. I just have to live with it.
Yeah.
And looking back at it now, like if I had realized, gosh, my whole life would be so different 10, 15 years ago if I had realized that I was doing it to myself.
Yeah. This is crazy. I love this conversation. And it's like people, I think that come to my channel and listen to what I have to say, they get it. Like they've been
Right.
there. And I've been very open, even though I'm like, I try to be ladylike or whatever. I had the worst gas before. I mean, and I was known as like the gassy one. I'm the oldest.
Yeah.
The oldest of three girls, always had horrible gas, like could clear out a room. Literally before I started carnivore, I would I would have a bad night, and you could tell when you were having a bad night because you would
Yep.
just, before you go to bed and you're like, this is going to last all night. And I would literally sleep on the couch because it would be like methane in your nose, waking you up, and it would wake my husband up all night. Like, God bless the man. We've been together 15 years. He's been with me through all this stuff, but like,
Yep.
I mean, this is a thing, but we think it's normal. And it's like, oh, you're just gassy, ha ha ha. But you go
Right.
carnivore and it's like, I haven't had gas in like 2 years.
Right.
I never
I'm like,
had gas.
I don't even remember what it's like to fart anymore. Like,
Right?
to be able to say that is like, wow. And then if it does happen, I mean, it's been almost 3 years. I probably farted a few times, but it's
Right.
usually something like I'll be honest with you. I'll put it out there. I do like ice cream.
Yeah.
It is the only weakness, I guess you could say. It's a pleasure that I enjoy. And when I do have it the next day, okay, there's going to be some gas.
Yeah. Oh yeah,
definitely. But I know and I understand, and it's an abnormality. It's not my life.
Right.
And I understand the process and why things are happening. So it's definitely, it's a whole different, it's crazy how one thing, having stomach issues and not knowing when you're going to have to go to the bathroom, how much that one aspect of your life can just control so many things. So many things. So that's no longer an issue. We want to talk about poop now. I go maybe once a day. There's times where I'm like, do I even need to use toilet paper? Like, whatever.
Yeah. Dr. Barry had a video where he was talking about poop, and he was like, you wipe and it's clean. That didn't happen before carnivore. And I was like,
no, not at all.
True story. I mean, we put it out there. We're talking poop. It's like, I didn't know that was even like a thing,
Right. Absolutely. Or that you could go to the bathroom for any less than 5 minutes at a time.
Right.
And not have to sit there. I used to bring books in with me and just chill out and read. And like that was, and I used to actually joke. I just realized this. I used to actually joke that if I was in there longer than 30 minutes to call a doctor. Like, call somebody. If I'm more than 30 minutes, call somebody because something's wrong. But that was like my average, 20 to 30 minutes, just sitting there trying to make things happen. It was horrible, absolutely horrible. So yeah, so that's where my I guess the biggest piece of my transformation comes from is, realizing that my mental image was not, like, I had to be honest with myself at one point and say, you're not where you thought you were. You're not 18, you're not 24 again anymore. You're almost 40, you're over 40, and things have changed, and you let yourself go.
Yeah.
Not necessarily that you let yourself go just because you're out of shape and that's bad, but my self-confidence was affected. The example that I was setting to my kids was not what I really wanted to be setting. And then just looking at the energy that I have now, the focus that I have now, the discipline, the concentration, all of those things that you look for in an employee, right? As an employee in my job, I was not performing as well as I probably could have been because of my self-confidence, lack of energy, not being motivated, all those other types of things. So job performance, my ability to provide for my family was being affected by my health and my condition as well. And all of those things together, something had to change.
Yeah.
So we go fast forward a few years. I have spent the last almost 10 years practicing helping people get in shape, practicing and learning and getting trained in all sorts of different ways to help people get in shape, from learning, becoming a CrossFit trainer, to a personal trainer, to Olympic lifting and powerlifting and kettlebell work and movement specialists, and trained in how to program exercises and workouts and things like that. And, I owned a gym for about 5 years, sold that last September. And luckily, right before COVID, yay! So I don't have to worry about any of that stuff. Thank goodness. And started moving things online. So I kind of like unintentionally beat the curve there a little bit. So I'm trying to get things online and do stuff there. So
that's a blessing, sure. I want to ask you one more thing before we talk more about fitness.
Sure.
Did you notice when you went carnivore, besides the kind of anxiety, about the unpredictability of your gut issues, did you feel a little bit more mentally calm, mentally stable with the cessation of the issues with the gut?
I think the biggest thing, it's hard because the anxiety that I didn't know that I had because of the stomach stuff, it's hard to tell what was what because all of it went away.
Wow.
Right. So just all of that in combination, big picture, I think, yes, the anxiety of the stomach issues, but then also if you throw on top of there the improvement in my self-image, the improvement in my self-confidence, and the positivity of seeing changes that I've been trying for years the wrong way to do. So having success in that, one of the biggest things that used to always frustrate me was the idea that you had to get fat to get strong, and you had to get skinny to lean, weak to get lean.
Yeah.
It frustrated me because anytime I tried to get strong, it was eat this, eat that, eat all these extra calories, eat all these carbs, do all this kind of stuff. And it's like, I feel like crap. Everything hurts and I'm fat. That doesn't make sense to me. And then, okay, now it's time to cut and get lean. All right, cut your calories in half. Now I'm starving all the time.
Yeah.
And now I can't lift like I used to. I'm not as strong as I was, but sure, I look skinny. I look great.
Right.
No, because I had it in my picture. It's all about the mental game and self-image, right? I'm realizing this more and more. Every video I talk to somebody, this always comes up, either from them or from me. Somewhere along the road, I was watching an NFL football game, and this was I'd started making some improvements and I'd lost a little bit of weight, but I wasn't really still where I wanted to be. And I heard the commentator say something about one of the linebackers on the teams who weighed 205 pounds. And I'm thinking to myself, I weigh 215, 220 pounds. I am not in that kind of shape. Mm. There's a difference there. What is that difference? And that's what got me started on thinking like, okay, if I want to get stronger based on the information that I have to get fatter. That means I'm going to weigh more than I weigh right now. I don't want to weigh more. I want to weigh less. I want to weigh 205 pounds and look like that guy.
Right.
How do I do that? I couldn't figure it out, because if I got down to 205 pounds, then I'd be way weaker than I was at 215 or 220. And I couldn't figure out a balance. So this is around the time when the carnivore diet was introduced to me. And one of the things that I noticed was, wait a second, I'm not getting weaker, but I'm getting leaner. Mm. It was like I don't understand this. How is this all happening? And then I started looking into things and learning about how your body actually burns fuel. Yes. What does your body actually do with protein? And all of these different things, and the difference between being fat adapted and being carb fueled and all that stuff. And it was just like things started getting put into place. and the puzzles started coming together in a way that I had never even known was possible. It was absolutely amazing.
That's awesome. That's awesome. And it just is the bigger picture of like questioning that narrative of what we're always told. Oh, you got to bulk up, you got to be bigger in order to be stronger. It's like, do we really though?
Right.
It's
Right.
what the carnivore diet has done for me is just kind of made me take a step back from everything and question,
Yeah.
really, do I really need to be on 5 different pills to manage my mental state?
Right.
No. Does anyone? I can't speak for anybody else. I can only speak for me, but I know I'm a hell of a lot better now on 0 medications than when I was on like 5 or 6,
Yeah. And I know a lot of other people that have the same story.
Yeah.
Absolutely same story. Yeah.
Yeah. Yeah. So we just, and I encourage all my listeners always to take that step back and question,
Yeah.
and you really have to do that.
Well, you're even doing that with carnivore, right? You
Oh
do that now. Like, hey, do I really need to not have carbs? Oh my
yeah.
God, don't ask that question. What are you talking about?
Yeah.
Right.
I mean, and I've done that with like the high fat approach
Yep.
and doing absolutely 0 fasting and, kind of questioning that as like, are we maybe overdoing some of that stuff? And because this is my tendency is
Yes.
if a little bit's good, then a lot must be amazing. And you can overdo fasting and you can overdo restriction and you can't, and it causes negative things to your hormones.
Absolutely.
And so, yeah, I've been really vocal about that. I know it pisses some people off, but I'm not saying it's bad for everyone and never to do it. I'm
Sure.
just saying like, you
I
got to
think,
figure out what works for you.
yeah, absolutely. I think there's a baseline that should work for everybody to a point to get you in a foundation for health. And
Yes.
then from there, individuality takes over. But you got to get a baseline first. And I think that's where a lot of people get mixed up. I
Yeah.
see it all the time. And it just, if I responded to every time I saw a post, I would never be off social
No.
media where someone's like, hey, I read this thing about some weird protein blah 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 test and how do I fit? I'm like, who cares?
Right.
Right? Focus. There's
Right.
3 things you need to worry about. Is the food you're eating nutrient dense? Is it something that your body can use the nutrients from? Is it bioavailable? And are you full when you eat? Or do you feel like you'll still need to eat all the time?
Right.
Those are the 3 things you got to worry about.
Yeah.
Stop taking tests.
Yeah.
Stop reading all these sciencey things and getting turned on by TMAO and this and that
Right.
and all these other things, right? Just stop. You're not there.
Right. Just put the chips down.
Right.
Like it's like you're worried about all these things and like eating
Right.
too much protein and this, that, and the other, but you're still probably eating chips and like whatever. You gotta quit the sugar. And I know people that follow me, they're like, oh, Sarah does, high fat and this, that, and the other. But that's not how I started. I started
Right.
carnivore eating ground beef and scrambled eggs like every day.
Yeah. Well,
That's it.
that's pretty much what I do now. Yeah.
And it was like easy. What I had to do and what most people have to do is they have to get off the sugar and the processed foods.
Yep.
And when you're getting off the sugar and the processed foods, you don't need to do this elaborate fat protein thing. Don't worry about it. Just get off the sugar and maybe I
Yep.
need to do a video talking about this because I think people get so wrapped up in like wanting to do it perfect that they don't do
Right.
like the paralysis by analysis thing.
Absolutely. Yep.
And you just got to get off that sugar and the processed foods, like what you did with that 21-day detox. And then you felt the difference of like 21 days without the sugar, without the alcohol. Just like, oh, I'm onto something here.
Right. Yeah. Sleep is better. Energy's better. Everything. It's like, okay, wait a second. Yeah.
Stop the chemical addiction because that's what it is. It's chemical.
Mm-hmm.
And then you can fine tune once you get a few months or even a year. I didn't do any fine tuning until I was like a year down the road. And I was like, this is not optimal. I need to fix some things. But go a year down the road or 6 months down the road before you start worrying about all this stuff.
The next step. Right. Like the thought process, and it's hard for me to watch people do this and just let it go. But again, there's so much of it out there. I can't help everybody all the time.
Yeah.
Unless they're asking me for help, obviously. But I need to make a change. So I think I'm going to do this keto thing. Should I also do OMAD, intermittent fasting, like cyclic keto? Do I need like, it's like, just like
No,
Ah,
no,
should I work? Should I work out 5 days a week? How much cardio should I'm like, guys, like bring it down a little bit. Come on, one thing at a time,
yeah,
and work your
that's
way
where I'm
through
at
it.
with people is like James Clear. I don't know if you're familiar with him at all, but he has a book talking about how to basically create habits to
Yes,
create things that you can sustain in your life. And one of the things in his book that he talks about is like getting into the habit of going to the gym. And you as a trainer may be like, nope, this is not a good idea, but I love it. He's like, if you want to create a habit of working out every day for an hour,
hmm,
first start off by getting in your car every day and just driving to the gym. Just
sure,
drive to the gym and stay for 1 minute and leave and come home.
right,
And
right,
do that every day for a week. Then the next week, you drive to the gym, you stay for 5 minutes, and then you come home. And then you build on it. You know, maybe you don't get up to like working out for an hour. Maybe it takes you a couple of months, but it's the whole act of taking your body
right,
to the gym, just actually going, right?
hmm,
And getting into that habit, and then you build from there. So it's not like
right.
you wake up at one day, you cut out sugar, you start CrossFit, you start meditating, you do holotropic breathing, and go to bed at 7 p.m. and wear your bleed
Yeah.
blockers. No, like
And
that.
don't forget, you also got to do your cold shower, your red light therapy, go for a walk.
Yeah.
Ah, like all those things are great, but they're add-ons, right? They're nice to haves. They're things that can help, but get a base first. Get a base first,
Yes.
guys.
Yes, it's so important. And now, we're going to be in January soon where that it starts. It's like I'm going to wake up Monday and everything's
Right.
going to be different. No, you keep going like you're going, you're going to wake up Monday and you're going to feel like shit. And
Yep.
it's going to be really hard to do those 10 things that you want to do. So,
Yeah. Just pick one.
right,
One or
right.
two. Pick one small nutrition habit that you can change, one
Yeah,
small fitness or activity thing that you can change, and just stick with that. Don't make this big thing. I'm going to start going to the gym 5 days a week, because you're not going to do it.
no,
You might
it's
do it for the first
hard.
week, and then
Yeah,
something's going to happen, and I guarantee you 2 weeks in, it's not going to happen.
yeah,
You know?
exactly.
So
Exactly. Well,
yeah.
the one thing we were talking about a little bit before we started recording is that a lot of people that follow me are women around my age, some older,
Mhm.
some a little younger. They probably have started carnivore, keto. They're definitely, working with a ketogenic lifestyle.
Yep.
A lot of them are not working out. A lot of them have adrenal fatigue. I mean, there's just a lot of like obstacles right now for these people. They either have some sort of adrenal issue, their gym is closed, they're not motivated, they're, all the things,
All the things.
all
Yes.
the things. And I've definitely struggled with consistency. I've had a lot of adrenal issues as well.
Hmm.
I've struggled with consistency during this virus time. So would just
I think
love to get
everyone
your
has.
take on all that stuff. Yeah, yeah,
Yeah.
yeah,
I think consistency is hard right now
yeah,
because of all the change, because of the uncertainty, the different levels of fear and uh, apprehension about doing things in different areas, stuff like that. So everyone's at a different place.
yeah.
Um, Gosh, the biggest thing is to find something. You got to stay in touch with your why. Find what
Yeah.
is it like. If it didn't bother you that you weren't doing something, then that would concern me.
Hmm.
The fact that you're worried and that you're saying I'm something is wrong, I should be more motivated than I am. The fact that you're having that conversation says that somewhere inside you have a reason to do something,
Hmm.
right? Your circumstances have maybe overwhelmed that to a point, and you may feel frustrated or like you can't for whatever reason. But you have to kind of be introspective and sit back, like, what is it? Why do I want to do this? And why is this bothering me? Take
Hmm.
a little time and do that self evaluation. When you can get back in touch with what it is that's driving you to want to be better, then
Hmm.
grab a hold of it, put it in front of you, and don't let go. Whether that's share it with your community of people, share it with a family member, print it out, write it down, and read it to yourself every morning. There's so many different techniques and methods and tactics that you can use to try to keep that desire in front of you.
Hmm.
I remember back in the day, I was told, take pictures and put them all over your refrigerator, put them in your car, in your windshield, in your sun visor, things like that. Like whatever that goal, that dream, that vision is, put it everywhere you can see it. And then use that as motivation to start doing something. What you do, keep it realistic. Again, we talked about this. It doesn't have to be a whole bunch of things, but it should be something that you can fit into your routine that doesn't present an obstacle that is greater than your desire.
Mm.
Because that's, I mean, you don't do things you don't want to do. So if you give yourself too much of a task and you're like, you know what, that's not worth it, I'm not gonna do that, then that was the wrong task.
Yeah.
You got to give yourself something that matches the level or is slightly less than the level of effort for the picture you have in your head of the why and the vision and the goal.
Yes.
So that you know you will do that. It's worth it. This is worth what I'm trying to get. And if you do that, eventually over time, those little things are going to add up. And you, oh, look, I got where I wanted to be.
Yes.
Right. Again, it's not going to happen in one big jump.
Right.
Take a little step. What is worth you changing in your life right now to help you get to your goal?
Yes.
That's all you got to worry about changing.
I love that. I love that. That's so helpful. What do you think about women working out with adrenal issues? Do you have any advice for them, or would you tailor workouts differently? I always tell people time under tension style workouts are really helpful, but do you work with women who are dealing with hormonal adrenal issues, and that's one of the reasons they can't lose weight?
Yeah, I think adrenal issues is such a broad phrase.
It really is.
So like, what does that even mean to a degree?
Yeah.
I think I will say that I think most people, and definitely a lot of women, have hormone issues that they don't even realize they have.
Oh God, yeah.
And again, we can talk about diet, we can talk about things, but I think one of the things, and I know most of you women listening to this probably won't want to hear this, is that a lot of women do not have the muscle mass that they need to have to maintain their metabolism and manage the hormones.
Yeah.
So from a fitness perspective, I think it is highly important for women in particular in society today to start lifting weights.
Yes.
And to push their bodies and give their muscles and their bodies a chance and a reason to do the work that they are built to do. We talked about the mindset that I had before of you have to get bulk, you have to get big to get strong, and when you get lean, you get weak. That mindset was wrong.
Yeah.
It does not have to be that way, and it's not that way. Many women have that same mindset of if I lift weights, I'm going to get bulky. That is so far from the truth.
Yeah.
Lifting weights is going to do several things. It's going to increase your metabolism. It's going to help you burn fat. All right. It's going to help regulate your hormones. It's going to require your body to do less work to get the same amount of effort or the same amount of tasks done in a day. So you will have more energy because it doesn't take as much energy to do things. Right. It will help with the amount of recovery and the amount of benefit that you get from sleep when you do get sleep. Right? Because your body has more things to work with regeneration and what we call the anabolic process, the rebuilding process. So there's a lot of things that happen, which is a direct correlation to the reduction of stress and inflammation.
Yeah.
So the more muscle you have, the less stress you have, it's like, what? So if you want to de-stress your lives, go lift some weights.
Yeah.
Not only from a muscle building perspective, but also from a mental perspective. Spending that time to focus on yourself and do something for yourself is extremely cathartic.
Yeah.
And by doing that, you also are building on success, because every day you go to the gym, every day you do something for yourself, you're giving yourself an opportunity for a small success.
Definitely.
So I think in general, I think absolutely they should be working out, doing something for sure.
Yeah. Awesome.
And yeah, good.
I was going to say, you're doing a lot of online programs right now. I wanted to let you talk about that just a little bit, unless you had something else you wanted to jump in.
I wanted to add a little bit, which I can segue in. And that is, if you're dealing with any issues, this is adrenal fatigue, injury, it doesn't make a difference. If you're dealing with something and you want to start a workout plan,
yes,
find a coach that you can ask questions that can give you feedback on where you are, what you should do, or how you should modify a program or whatever that is.
Mm.
Right. So you don't just go online and find a program and follow it. You need to I think everyone needs a coach. That's
Yeah.
just my general. I think everyone needs a coach. Nobody, unless you are like me and you've spent 8 or 10 years studying fitness, you don't know what you're doing, get a coach.
Right.
Right. Particularly if you have a health issue or a lifestyle issue or an injury or something that you need to work around
Mm.
or to help mitigate and improve specifically that issue. You need someone that can give you feedback.
Yeah.
Secondly is learn how to be mindful of yourself and how you feel. Just like with you do, like with nutrition, ask yourself questions. If I eat this, how do I feel? If I eat this, what is it doing to me? The same thing goes for fitness. If I do this workout, how do I feel afterwards? How do I feel a day, 2 days, 3 days afterwards?
Yeah.
Do I feel beat down and destroyed from doing one workout 3 days later? Does that mean the workout needed to be adjusted? Did I do it too hard? What was the aspect of that process that caused me to feel bad for 3 days?
Right.
And ask those questions. That's also another reason why you want to have a coach. So you can ask the coach those questions as well. Hey, how do I change this so I'm not beat up 3
Yeah.
weeks down the road, or whatever it
Recovering
is. Right.
and yeah, I think
Yeah.
that's great. I think that's great.
So
And
and that
people
is
are just lost right now
right.
and I feel that way too, even though I've hired personal trainers for 15 years. Right after I had my daughters, when I first started working with trainers, and I could do a workout, I know how to do it, and I'm a
Right.
yoga
Right.
teacher, but I still struggle with that whole, like, okay, number one, the accountability part. That's what's helpful about having a coach or somebody there that you're accountable to. And then two, like, okay, maybe I'm not working hard enough.
Yeah.
I've usually fallen to the camp of like not working hard enough. The only thing I have a tendency to overdo is the cardio, and like,
You're
I'll,
not the only one.
oh my God, I'll do way more cardio thinking it's going to help me lose weight. And then what it ends up doing is making me more hungry. So
Yeah.
I end up sneaking in the extra food and or just like exhausted, and you're not building any muscle that way. So that's my
Absolutely.
mistake.
Absolutely. Yeah. So again, we're looking at the adrenal fatigue, right? When you do the same thing. And again, I don't know statistics. I don't know if there's any studies that have been done on women. This would be very interesting, actually. Women with adrenal issues who primarily do cardio.
Oh God, that would be astounding.
Because I in my own head, I can see a correlation there.
Oh
Because
yeah.
a lot of women are chronically doing cardio, thinking that is what's going to help them, and then actually it's doing more harm.
I agree.
In a lot of cases than what they think it's doing. So that's, again, go lift weights, ladies. Go lift weights. So as far as what I'm doing online, I've got a few things that I do online, but talking about fitness in particular, I actually have the Apex at Home program, which is an online 5-day-a-week workout program. So you get an app on your phone, and every week you get 5 emails sent directly to your phone. It includes a warm up, the strength work, conditioning piece, and a cool down. Every single exercise and every single day has a video that goes with it to go over the movements.
Cool.
And every single workout, I do a weekly video that explains the workouts for the week. So you have a target, here's what you're supposed to be doing. So when you talk about, am I going too hard? Am I not going hard enough? I'm going to tell you for every workout, this is kind of where you should be and how it should feel.
Okay.
And then on top of that, right now, this schedule will change and fluctuate, but right now, every Tuesday and Thursday, I'm doing a live session for whatever the workout of that day is.
Oh, cool.
So people can log into Zoom and I'll walk you through, and you actually get me, I get eyes on you doing the work, and I can give you tips and stuff like that as you do it.
Cool.
So that's that. There's also, Facebook group within the app. You can text and chat with other people that are subscribed. So there's always feedback. I'm in there all the time answering questions. It's just a really great way to kind of get a little community, get some coaching, get a workout that you don't have to worry about. All the stuff can be done at home. You need some dumbbells and some bands, and you're probably good.
Perfect. That was the next question.
Yep.
Yeah.
Yep. So it's all, my mom has been doing it. So I personally have a passion for helping people in general. My focus is really, I'm trying really hard to hone in on guys over 40 because that's something I can relate to.
Mm.
Not anecdotally, kind of by happenstance, as it stands right now, most of my clients and most of the people that I am working with are women over 35. I don't know how that happened. I
That's
think
my audience.
probably
Like
right,
that's like 70% of my audience.
right.
You get the
So
30% of men, but
yeah, so I will work with anybody, and I enjoy working with anybody. And I'll be honest with you, my mom, who's 66 now, I've been working with her. She's been a personal training client. She was a member at my gym when I owned the gym, and she is currently doing my program online, which
nice.
is crazy that I actually helped her build a little gym in the basement. And, she's got a squat rack in there and a
Oh,
universal machine. And
sweet.
she's like, I want to deadlift and all these things. I'm like, who is this woman?
I love it.
Um,
That's
but I've been working
amazing.
with her, yeah, for about 6 years or so as a client. So now she's doing the program online and she absolutely loves it. So for her, again, it's the accountability.
Yeah.
She's created online relationships with other women in the group. So now they're encouraging each other, hey, how was the workout today? This really sucked. We have one subscriber who her gym is outside and she lives out in the Midwest. Like it's snow and freezing and she's doing a workout in her boots and whatever else. But it's awesome that people from all over the place can kind of have access to a program and other people that can keep them going.
Cool. How can people find you, get in touch with you? I'll make sure to link it all below the video as well.
Okay, yeah, sure. So my website is apxts.com. So that's the Apex Training System, just the first letter basically of each. APX, well, not the first letter, but anyways, Apex Training System. You can find, if you just Google the Apex Training System, hopefully, no matter where you are, I come up as the first thing. You can find me on Instagram at Bronson Dant 72, on Facebook at Bronson Dant, or the Apex Training System. And I think that's it. I'm on YouTube as well. Oh, I always forget about the YouTube channel. I've
Yeah.
got a YouTube channel as well, the Apex Training System. On there, I've got movement videos. I got a whole movement library. I got, like 130 or more exercises that are there. A lot of information, talks, a lot of interviews and stuff like that. So just all kinds of cool stuff.
Cool. I'll link that below as well.
Okay.
So cool. Thank you for talking today. And
Absolutely. Thanks for having me.
I'm excited to see what we can do offline. So
Cool.
cool. Thank you.